Hello and welcome into the Knicks-Verse, into the final recap show of the 2021-22 season. It's been, I can't believe it, we're already here, April 10th. No playoffs to look forward to like it was last year. Last year, that was exhilarating. Though something really awesome has also happened. There are some bright spots for us to look at. And I mean, it begins with, well, for one, we won today. We beat the Toronto Raptors 105-94 behind Immanuel Quickley and Obi Toppin, both reaching career highs. That's right. And look at this photo. This was the game where IQ stepped up and made a claim for being the starting point guard of the New York Knicks. That's right. He has now made a statement. He said to the world, the NBA world, I got this. I can even break my former teammates' ankles. There it was. I remember that moment. That was awesome. Here it is. Knicks on MSG tweeted this out. The Obi Toppin and Immanuel Quickley show. Toppin 42 points. So he's the fifth Knick this season to hit 40 points or more. Wow. 10 rebounds on 16 of 28 field goal shooting. That's wow. It's 6 of 14 from the three-point line. Outstanding shooting. I mean, he looked amazing. And there were some finishes that were so spectacular. I have highlights. I'll show you the highlights in a little bit. And then Immanuel Quickley, 34 points. And he got off to a poor start shooting-wise. He was 1 of 5 originally. But he finished with 34 points, 12 assists, 10 rebounds. His second triple-double in the past week, I believe. Second triple-double of his career. So this is both career highs for them. Congratulations, fantastic. I have a lot to say, obviously, about that. Let's go to this one here. You can see this is another graphic from Knicks feed. Just love seeing that. Look at that, 12 of 26. 26 field goals to get 34 points. Fabulous. Fabulous. His passing is just... His court vision has improved. I mean, his handle has improved, so he looks faster out there. He's just doing everything correctly at the right time right now. Let me tell you, even though Obi Toppin at 42 points, in some ways I'm more impressed with what Quickley has done. As you all know, I have been on Quickley Island for quite a while. Almost the entire length, actually yes, the entire length of this channel. For the life of this channel, I have been on Quickley should be the point guard, starting point guard on this team island. And it's getting crowded on this island. Yeah, ferry tickets are selling out. People are trying to get on the island. And you're all welcome. You're all welcome. Absolutely. He is a really interesting player. He really is incredibly dynamic. He's constantly putting, I mean, everything that we've always said about him, that he puts defenses on their back heels, he keeps doing it, and he's gotten better at it. And his, almost cross-court, full court passes to Obi, I mean, they're like, a nightly occurrence now. Fantastic. Sometimes 2-3 times in a game. Unbelievable. I am so blown away and impressed by those two guys. Tommy Beard tweeted this out, which I found really interesting. On January 8th, the Knicks' entire team scored a total of 75 points in the loss to the Celtics. Randall and Burks were a combined 8 for 30 from the floor in that loss. In tonight's win over the Raps, Obi and IQ, just those two players, scored a combined 76 points on 52% shooting. Ooh, that is a thing of beauty. Let's go to, what else do I have here? Oh, there's another Tommy B. He always puts out these little funny ones here. Knicks, as it turns out, Obi is pretty good. As it turns out. Now we're going to talk about Obi. Obi is making Julius Randle expendable. Now, he has been, in my opinion, anyway. But now he has completely affirmed it. It sucks that we had to wait until the very end of the season to see this. When most of us have been crying out to see Obi get more minutes. There's a whole. I've never been on Obi Island, but I've always appreciated what Obi could do. I'm on record saying I believe Obi can be a 2010 guy, can average for a couple of seasons in this league. I think that. I mean, he could even do better. I don't know. I mean, what we've been seeing lately. I mean, who knows what he could turn into? But he definitely is showing that he can achieve that 2010 level and do it efficiently. Something that Julius has never been that efficient, the guy in general, except for last season. But this season, he regressed. And like I said earlier in the pregame show, he is the most inefficient, high volume player, high usage player in the entire NBA, which is why we missed the playoffs. You cannot win in this NBA if your best player, or the player that's putting up, let's change that, remove the word best, but the player that is getting the most looks is missing them. How do you win? This game's about, it's a make or miss game, make or miss league. So if you're missing, you're gonna miss the playoffs, and that's exactly what happened. Exactly what happened. Let's check out some Obi highlights here. Look at that. I mean, he from the second the game started, he was just out there on the break. I don't know how many fast break points he had. God, I should look that up. Just electric, man. And look, the Raptors are a good defensive team. Now, were they sitting some players? Yes, everybody is. Siakam didn't play. Fred VanVleet didn't play. But OG played. Scotty Barnes, who's an excellent defender, he played. And he was covering him often. And who else played on that team? Obi. Yeah, we'll get to it when we look at the box score. But, oh, man, look at that. That was beautiful. Look at this pass. Look at that. Spin behind the back. He would have been an incredible tight end in the NFL, or wide receiver. His hands are unbelievable catching those passes. Just phenomenal. Look at that. So, you're probably all wondering, or not wondering, or expecting me to say something negative about Tom Thibodeau in regards to the incredible performances that we have seen from Quickley and Obi of recent lately. I'm so tired of complaining about him, and knowing that he's coming back next season doesn't make it any easier. But I'm going to toot my own horn. I was right. I was right. Got to say it. I was right all along. These guys, and one of the reasons why I predicted 50 wins or more is because I knew these guys could do what they're doing. But the other guy did not utilize them in the proper way. Now, Quickley in the beginning of the season did struggle. He had to figure out how to overcome the new foul rule changes, because he was a foul baiter before, and that really impacted his whole style of play. And he was searching for a while, but when he finally found it, look at what he has become. Look at these drives. Look at this. Boom, into the chest of the defender. Right there, just ran him over. He's like, I'm gonna make this bucket. You ain't stopping me. And then he shot from the logo. He was all over. Look at this one. That one, he was like sideways, but he shot it. It was a shot because his eyes were locked on the backboard. He shot it. It wasn't a lucky, like a heave. Oh, look at those passes. Just totally impressed and blown away, but at the same time, not surprised. I believe that they were capable of this. And why should we be surprised that Quickley can play like that? Look at this. Look at that. He was the understudy of Derrick Rose. He watched Derrick Rose for about a year, and he learned so much. He has learned how to become a good point guard I think, because of the tutelage that Derrick Rose gave him. Because remember, when he first came to the team, the two guys that he had dinner with first, you guys remember, were these two, Obi and IQ. They went out to dinner, the three of them. There may have been more people on that dinner, but I know for sure they were there, and they talked about it. And they developed that great chemistry in that second unit, when often the second unit was better than the first unit, was better. I mean, it would just, it would come in and give us leads, and then the first unit would cough them up. This has been such a trying season, man. And it didn't have to be. That's the saddest part. And yet Tom Thibodeau's going to get rewarded with another stab at it next season. Will he make adjustments? Will he finally, if Randall's still on this team, will he finally play them together? I don't know. I actually don't have any faith in Tom Thibodeau changing anymore at all. I did last season. I thought that he was evolving. I thought that he was reinventing himself, that he wanted to learn how to be a better coach and connect better with his players, not run them into the ground. I thought that that's what he was going to become, that kind of coach. And it seemed like he talked the talk. But in the end, he reverted back to his old ways of wanting to develop the vets, Taj Gibson and Alec Burks. I mean, Alec Burks was the starting point guard on this team. I think he probably started more games at point guard than anybody else on this team. That'll tell you right there. I mean, THIBS isn't going to change. So I'm a little worried about next season, because the obvious thing to do is something that he refused to do. So next time we're back in this situation, is he going to make the right decisions before we run into that iceberg, and sink? I don't know. I honestly don't think so. I don't. And it saddens me to say it. Now, we're going to play the video of Leon Rose. There's just have like a 2-minute portion of it. I haven't seen the whole interview of Leon Rose. It actually aired while we were doing the pregame show, and then we read tweets out, some of the comments. I still need to digest it, but it is definitely worth listening to right now. So here we go.
The last 20 games of the season, although again it's been hard not knowing or not going to either the play-in or the playoffs, to see the young players and their growth and their development over these last 20 games. Quickley and Toppin, last year's draft picks, and the 3 draft picks from this year. How excited are you about what these guys have been able to do in a difficult season, yet still have this kind of growth?
Yeah. You asked me in the beginning about the season and the disappointment and that part of it, and that's definitely there. The fact that we're not in the playoffs, that was our goal. We wanted to be in the playoffs. We wanted to take a step. But, I feel as though since the All-Star break, the team's, shown some momentum and has shown some good signs. We've been 11-11. We've won 8 out of our last 13. And the opportunities that have been given to the guys you just referred to, have been, these guys have gotten an opportunity and taken advantage of it. And, for us, that's very exciting. Jericho going against starting centers, the 58th pick in the draft. Obi, the last, week or so has just, taken it to another level, scoring a career-high 35 last game. Quentin, who, had already established himself in the rotation. Deuce getting minutes and doing a good job with it. Quick playing point guard and showing some great signs. And, RJ, we forget RJ's only 21 years old. We have 9 players on our team that are 24 years old or younger. And, and Julius is only 27. So, all those things take, that we look at that like, development is key. And this part of the season, we've seen some good development, and we just need to work and continue on and build on that.
You look at
Well, there it is. So we finally heard actual words come out of Leon Rose's mouth. Now, it was, set up, interview, MSG, it wasn't with beat reporters. He wasn't, facing the press per se. And Breen, even though he got some good content out of him, it wasn't like he was challenging him. But the idea that development is like the key is utterly hilarious to me, considering everything I just said about THIBS, everything I've been saying for months about THIBS and his refusal to pivot and start embracing the youth on this team. And we could have won a lot more games. We could be in the playoffs. I'm going to say it again. We could be in the playoffs. Tonight, Obi Toppin, 42 points. 42 points on 6 of 14 3-pointers. He shot 6 of 14 from the 3-point line. Immanuel Quickley, 35 points. No, 35 points? Yeah, 35. Phenomenal. It makes me wonder. I mean, do they believe what they say? Wild. I'll watch the whole interview and I'll drop another analysis on it all, and I'll share my feelings about it. Or maybe we'll do a live stream and stuff, because I'd love to hear your feelings about it as well. But it's interesting that he chose the last game of the season to talk. So here's the game flow. So you can see the Knicks got off to a great start and then let the Raptors claw their way back in. This game was basically meaningless anyway, but it was still nice to see the team rally and take control of this game, especially when they actually, I think they coughed up the lead or tied it in the fourth quarter. Yeah, they did. And the Knicks were able to just pull away, mostly on that just incredible performance by Obi Toppin and Immanuel Quickley. Just phenomenal. The team was very shorthanded, down to 8 men entirely, and that meant Ferran Hunt got 7 minutes of play. But as you can see the minutes, look, Obi got 40 minutes, Sims got 39, Burks 40 minutes, Fournier 33, Quickley 42 minutes, and Archie Diacono. Archie Diacono. I don't know why I always have a block on that name. 23 minutes for him. He played a nice game. 2 of 5. There's one 3-pointer that hit, was a nice 3-pointer. His shot looks good. He looks like he could be a nice contributing player, a bench player on a team somewhere. And then Taj, of course, he gave what he could give, like he always does. The Knicks shot about 35% from the 3-point line, 15 of 43. It shot 46% overall. Fantastic win for them because it was done by the young guys, by our 2020 draft picks. How about that? Our 2 first-rounders that we had in 2020 came through tonight in sensational fashion, combining for 76 points. Unbelievable. I can't stop. It makes me overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmingly happy, but at the same time, kind of defeated, because we could have been seeing this kind of dynamic performance all year long. And who knows? Just to put this out there, what if at some point THIBS had been like, you know what? You are not looking good. Your defense is struggling, and your offense is just really needs work. How about we're going to rest you for a few games. We're going to start Obi. What if he had done that around game 30? Maybe that would have woken Randall up. And maybe something could have happened at the trade deadline, because he wouldn't have been that horrific, inefficient player that he became. There's different ways to manage different people. And yes, there are different ways to manage certain people, and you have to figure out what works for each specific person. And we've talked about that on this channel before. But when something isn't working, you have to try something else. And yet, we never saw that from THIBS. And I think that was the real, at the center of the conflict with the Kemba benching turmoil in the locker room. because by that point, it was pretty evident that Randall was dogging it on defense, that Randall was moody, that Randall wasn't contributing to winning, and he was actually dragging the team down, and he wasn't living up to what we needed from him. And yet, what THIBS did was embarrass a great guy, Kemba Walker, by completely removing him from the rotation. I mean, he didn't have to go that extreme. Now, I get it, he's small and all that stuff, but there were other options. And I'll say it again. They could have flopped the backcourts after Game 10. I said it before, and I'll keep saying it. So there is a long list of errors that were made this season, which culminated in where we are right now, where we finished 37-45 in 11th place. There it is. That was the story of this season. As you can see, the Raptors, they struggle from the three-point line, 12 of 42, 28%. They shot 39% overall. It was a rough game for them. And there were times where the Knicks, the defense broke down here and there, for sure. But then there were other times where they really stepped up. They ended up with, we only ended up with 6 steals. I thought we had more, but look at that, 32 assists. 32 assists. That's phenomenal. That's fabulous. Like, again, I think that is the 3rd highest of the year. I believe that's the 3rd time we've gotten 30 or more. We may have recently with IQ now running the point. We've had games of 29 assists, 28 assists, just awesome. Where we are actually 30th in the entire NBA as a team for the entire season in assists. So there you go. That just shows you that these guys, the younger guys, know how to play winning basketball. And I'll say this, they have learned it under the Tom Thibodeau regime. So I would think that Tom Thibodeau would want to embrace that and, and try to take credit for it by showcasing them more, and putting them out there. Now, are we going to see a team next season where IQ is the starting point guard and Obi Toppin is the starting power forward because we managed to figure out a way to trade Julius Randle? I sure hope so. I really do. I think a full season of those guys. I'm sure some people ask and wonder, oh, well, would we be a better team or a worse team if Obi starts and not Randle? We're going to be a better team. Look, that's the result. We finished with 37 wins. And then the year before, not last year, but the year before that, with Randle on the team, we were a terrible team. So this notion that we need Randle to win doesn't hold up to the facts. Does not hold up to the facts. And also, to even drive that message home further, we weren't a winning team last year until Derrick Rose came to this team. But meanwhile, Randle was already putting together an all-NBA level performance that led to the All-Star selection. So his style of play does not directly lead to victories. He may get points. If he's hitting his 3-point shot, it's awesome. It changes everything. But historically, he doesn't. So this notion that we would be a worse team starting Obi at the 4 and not with Randle, just the numbers and the facts don't support that notion. I think we'd be a better team. In fact, I know it. 100%. 100%. Oh, man. I'm a little tired. It's the end of the year, end of the season. Done a lot of these. And I just wanted to thank everybody for being a part of the Knicks-Verse. It's our Knicks-Verse. I always say that, and that's absolutely 100% true. And I look forward to doing more content over the off-season. Gonna, probably put out as many videos as we have been all along. But they'll be more sporadic because they won't be tied to games, and they'll be more news-driven, rumor-driven. or analytics driven. Whenever I kind of come upon something interesting to share with you guys. But this is going to be a very key off season, incredibly. But like I said it the other night, probably the most pivotal one in quite a while, because this is the first time. I mean, first time since that Mark Jackson, Patrick Ewing era, where the young guys were the best players on this team. And like Leon said, we have a tremendous amount of players that are 24 and under. You know, I mean, this is exciting. And usually young guys that show you something, they keep getting better until eventually they hit their ceiling. I don't think we've seen anybody hit their ceiling. I cannot name a young Knick that has hit their ceiling. RJ, I don't think he's anywhere near his ceiling. Mitch, maybe Mitch. There's a possibility that what Mitch is doing when he's out there, that Mitch could average a double-double. That's what I think Mitch could do. Incredibly highly efficient around the rim, leads the league in field goal percentage. He might be at his ceiling. However, if he added some more tools to the toolbox, weapons in his bag, he might actually become something else. So who knows? So even E, but I'm just trying to concede that. Next guy, Obi's totally going to get better. Quickley? Absolutely. Grimes? Has he hit a ceiling? No. Deuce? Not at all. Cam? No. So, Jericho Sims? We are very well positioned to have a very good season next year. A very good one if Leon does his job right this summer. Let's hope. Fingers crossed, man. Fingers crossed, guys. Oh, man. And again, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit that thumbs up button for me and drop your comments. Definitely love the comments. I want to hear how you guys are feeling after this long and troublesome season. And there's still a lot of question marks. It's going to be interesting what happens. Oh, man. But I'll tell you one thing. It sure was fun to watch the Obi and IQ show. Imagine with RJ out there, Grimes, get Cam out there. That sounds exciting to me. And, Fournier still going to contribute. One of the best three-point shooters in the game. We're well positioned. They just have to add and subtract the right pieces. It's not that, it's hard. It's not easy. But that's your job, Leon. I will see you all around the Knicks-Verse.